Hey, hey. All right. So I am back with part 10 of Healing from Divorce. Tonight, I'm talking about renewal. Um, I'm so excited to be able to talk to you tonight. I feel like 10 weeks is a long time to be talking about one subject, but sometimes I get on a series and I just don't stop. So tonight, we're going to talk about renewal, knowing your worth, and living well. And I want to talk about it in a sense of anything is possible, right? Because dealing with a divorce is one of the hardest things that you'll ever do. It is up there with grieving the loss of a loved one. It is like second under that when we look at statistics, and so it's really hard. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to do the series is because I know that so many of us have to deal with this unexpected part of life. And I just want to be able to hold your hand and walk you through it and help you in any kind of way that I can. So, this is my contribution. This is what I do. So, let's get into the content that I have for you tonight. So, again, I'm drawing this framework for healing from my book, Unmothered. And so, the whole framework is in there. But when we're just looking at healing, the way I've been discussing it in the series over the past few weeks, I start with mindset, meaning you have to have a positive outlook on life if you're going to get through whatever you're going through, and that includes divorce. And so I start with mindset, having a positive outlook, and then the next step is acceptance. After acceptance is grief, because you need to be able to process the fact that you have suffered a loss. And then after grief is forgiveness. Forgiveness is for you. It is not for the other person. It is for you because you need to forgive yourself of some things. And if you are able to release the other person from what they've done, if you're able to, you know, leave it in the past and move forward, then it can really be beneficial when it's time to get to renewal. And so the way I like to look at the forgiveness part, which is why it's before renewal in my framework, is because it's like when you are holding on to a lot of stuff that's happened to you, it doesn't mean that you're not going to remember, but sometimes you find it difficult to move forward because that stuff is taking up space. It's taking up space. It's taking up time. It's taking up energy. The more you think about it, the more you go around and around. And so with that, when you begin to purge those emotions and purge those feelings, it doesn't mean you're going to forget it. It just means that you're going to begin to act differently, and so that it's not always upsetting you. You're not always taken down when you remember what has happened, and that is what propels you into the renewal phase of healing. And so it's like saying, now I'm ready. Like once you deal with the messy parts, now you're ready to go into renewal. Now, going into the renewal part of healing does not mean that you're not going to have any issues. It doesn't mean you're not going to have any issues. It doesn't mean that you're not going to sometimes have to cry. And like I like to say, fall out and roll on the ground and, have a fit or whatever it takes. It doesn't mean that you're not going to still be processing through emotions. Or sometimes, you may find yourself thinking like, this still doesn't feel real. Going into renewal doesn't mean those things won't happen. It just means that you are ready and that you have been doing the healing work that it takes to take your life back, to get control of your life again. And so, thinking about renewal, um, I like to think of it as God has more for me. Like this can't possibly be His best. I don't believe that. And so no matter, how difficult things have been, you have to believe what God tells us, which is that He can do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can ask or think. And sometimes all you got to do is just ask. You have to ask, and you have to be able to imagine yourself having better. And so it's not like it's going to be, it's not like, it's fake. It's like as you imagine yourself having better, you create that drive, you create that need to go and to actually get it and to make it happen. It keeps you from staying stagnant. And so yeah, so remember that he can do above, exceedingly above all we can ask or think, and go ahead and ask. And so know that what you just come through isn't God's best. God can do more. And if you're not a person that believes in God, that's okay. Just understand that the ability to think and to dream and to be positive is extremely powerful. If you can conceive it in your mind, you can make it happen. You can make it happen. You do basically anything that you want to, but you got to believe it. And so how do you get to renewal? So, like I said, you have to walk through the steps, which is accepting where you are, grieving your losses, really allowing yourself to process that, and you want to allow the grief to come out and to deal with it. To even have a therapist for support, friends and family that you can count on and that aren't going to be very judgmental and like pointing their finger. You want to, surround yourself with those people if you can. If not, and it's just you and you're really private or whatever, then I would encourage you to journal, to exercise, to do activities that, like even if you just take yourself out to dinner and like to be out of the house and be around other people, but do things that will help you process through that period of sadness and loneliness and regret, whatever it is that you're going through. So that when you move into forgiveness, you are ready to let go. You are ready to tell yourself, okay, I know it didn't work out how I wanted it to, but I'm giving myself grace because there's something better for me. There, the whole world is open to me. And so you come through those three steps first, um, and then you are ready to steward what's coming to you. What I mean by steward it is like you can manage it well. So you don't want to be in a situation where, okay, you went through the divorce and things look like they're going better, and then all of a sudden you get like something good happens to you, and you can't really accept it because you are fearful that it's going to be taken away, or you are worried about, well, how things happen with this divorce. And so you want to try to process as much as you can. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have, some trepidation and, some concerns. It just means that you have done the work that it takes so that when you receive good things into your life, you know how to hold them. You know what to do with them. You don't self-sabotage on purpose just out of fear and just or even out of anger or whatever. So it's just allowing you to take the time, and then you're ready to receive those new things. And so the first part of renewal is loving yourself. You have to begin to love yourself. And that does start with, like I said, giving yourself grace for however things have gone through the divorce, but really just focusing on you. It is a time to decenter the marriage and the failure of the marriage. It is a time not even really to be thinking about like another person, like, or, like attracting somebody else or getting into another relationship. This is a time for you. It's a time to focus on yourself and to learn yourself. So if you don't know, like what you like because you've been a couple for so long, or you've been with that other person for so long, this is a time to really, spend with yourself, getting to know you, flaws and all. And I always have to say that because sometimes, we can be really hard on ourselves and we think that we're perfect. But this is a time to accept you where you are, to say, okay, maybe there are some things that I want to work on. Maybe, there are some things that I want to change about myself, but I love myself. And you have to do that because that is directly connected to your self worth. And in renewal, you must recognize your worth. You have to know that everything and anything that you want can be yours because you deserve it. This is the time to reclaim that, to reclaim those thoughts. Because sometimes when you're married, you do give up some things. You do have to sacrifice it. It's not just like if you're a woman, like submitting, even though both men and women are supposed to submit to each other. That's another topic. But it's not just the submitting and the settling or the compromising that you have to do. But sometimes you can focus so much on another person that you forget the things that you enjoy. You forget what makes you laugh. You forget the things that you're really interested in or your hobbies. Sometimes that happens to us. We basically lose ourselves as we're trying to stay with the other person. And so this is a time to reclaim that. And so it will help you rebuild your confidence too in yourself. Now, like I said, this isn't a time to be thinking about other relationships, because you might not really be confident about what those are going to look like, when the time comes, or if the time comes. In any relationship, it can really shake your faith when you go through a loss like divorce. However, this is not the time for that. This is a time to be in relationship with yourself and to be in relationship with God if you are a believer. This is a time to shore yourself up so that you know that you are completely loved and that you can get through anything. And that as you move through it, good things are going to come to you. You're going to attract good things with the energy that you are giving. You're not going to wallow. You're not going to have a mindset of lack. You're not going to feel like, oh, this was the love of my life and I could never, find anybody better, because that's not true. You don't know what God has for you. And that's why renewal is so powerful, because you are at the point where you can do something brand new. And I'll tell you the story. This I think I was on Instagram the other day, and I came across a post, and it was an elderly woman, and I don't know if it was her grandson or who the person was, the young man was that was interviewing her, but the woman was 104. She's 104, and she's in the interview talking to him, and it starts off with so your husband divorced you when you were in your 70s or something like that, and after like 46 years of marriage. So this woman had been married for 46 years, and she was in her 70s. Husband says he doesn't want to be married anymore. So as she's in the interview, she describes how she's feeling, and she says she was devastated. She didn't think she was going to survive it, didn't think she was going to get up from it, because like she was already so, far along in life and didn't know how to do anything but be a couple. But this woman spoke life into all of us that were on watching that part of that interview, that reel. She said that after some time working through things and beginning to heal, she had to go back and thank her ex-husband for the freedom that she had. Because when she was with him, she was just like a couple and she was just like his wife. But when she was on her own, when he set her free, she was Dr. Gladys. So she, must have had all this education and wasn't even really being recognized for it, because she was just kind of seen as his wife. And so she went on to live and continues to live. She is 104, still living, still thriving. And I just think that it is a testament to the restoration that can happen when you take control of your life. But it's not going to happen if you just sit there. So first, it starts with loving yourself and releasing yourself and forgiving yourself, giving yourself grace for what has just happened. Decenter the failure of the marriage and focus on you. Get to know yourself. Get to find out the things that you like. And then the next thing is, as you begin to learn yourself, and you will continue to have relationships. I mean, some of you have children like I do, you have friends, and you're going to meet other people. And knowing and loving yourself is important, because now you're going to know how to show up and how to interact with those other relationships much better. Because I don't know, how you were interacting when you were married, but now you have an opportunity to be your full authentic self. And when you can be like that, it is the most powerful that you can be, because you're operating in your originality. You're operating in your uniqueness. You don't have to waste energy pretending or faking who you are. And so when you do that, you can really begin to enjoy life, because you don't have those pressures of being fake. You can say what you mean and mean what you say. You can back up what you say with action. So being yourself is extremely powerful, and it will allow you to enjoy the relationships that you have with your children. Because maybe you didn't always see eye to eye when you guys were parenting together, and so you might want to change things up. I know for me, one of the things I've been doing is cooking up a storm, because my ex-husband didn't like certain things, and no shade to him, is that's not what I'm saying. But I've been cooking like how I want to cook. You hear me? And it's not like I wasn't cooking meals before. It's just like I feel like something has been unlocked. And so, like, I've been throwing down in here. And so it could be the smallest things, but you will bring that authenticity to every relationship that is ongoing and those that are to come, because now you know who you are, right? Now you're in your power. And so there's nothing to do but to continue to soar. Okay. And so the next thing is to understand that your dreams, your goals, all those things are yours for the taking. But, but it takes knowing your boundaries. It takes having some standards. It takes moving differently than you did previously. So the thing about failures and the thing about making mistakes is that lessons are there. We learn lessons from those things. Doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect the next time around, whether you decide to have a romantic relationship or get in married again or whatever you decide. It doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect, but it does mean that some learning has taken place, because there's no way you can come through something like this and you ain't learned a single thing. So you're going to move differently, in the future, and that can work to your benefit. It can work to your benefit as you set your goals, and it can work to your benefit as you unlock, what the next level of you looks like. Because so many times when we're married and when we're in relationships, we tend to shrink and we tend to play small because we want to keep the other person happy. And so maybe you tried all that and look, it didn't end up working anyway. So you might as well be you, and you might as well be loud and flamboyant with it and go after the things that you want, because now it is your time. And it's not the fact that you need to be like, oh, I don't need anybody, like I don't need a man, I don't need this, I don't need that. No, just stand in your power and understand that sometimes when we come through things, it can unlock something else in us. It can, like, look at me. I'm up here making videos about healing from divorce. I'd never thought that this is what I would be doing right now, but it might help somebody. And so sometimes when you come through something and you begin to heal, it will unlock something in you. You might have something creative come out of it. You might be motivated within yourself to go back to school or to start another career that you felt like you didn't have time to start, or maybe your spouse didn't agree with you. I don't know, what it is, but those dreams, those hopes, those things are there now for the taking. And so there is no reason to stay stuck. There's no reason to keep woe is me and crying about it all. Yeah, it hurt. Yes. And you are going to continue to heal. It's going to continue to hurt for some time. It's going to take some time to get through it. It is. It is. That's a fact. If you felt anything in the marriage, that's a fact that it's going to take time. Own that and be okay with that. But also know that life is not over. Also know that God has not given you his best. He already said he can do exceedingly and abundantly above all you can ask or think. So you need to stand on that and believe that. So also know that there is more work for you to do. There are people that are going to be, their lives are going to be changed and affected by the things that you do. So when you figure out who you are, and when you get on purpose, and when you are, helping others or serving in whatever way you can, or building your businesses or writing your books, or, raising your children to be kind and helpful and to be somebody in the community, when you're doing all of that, it is life changing. It alters the course of things. And there's no way to say that it doesn't. That's what we're all here to do, to interact, to work together, to lift each other up. But you can't do that if you don't come out of the healing phase. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to help you. To help you walk through these steps. So if you missed any of the previous lives, go back. The replays are they're here on my YouTube account. You can watch them. But yeah, renewal is to me the very best part of healing, because it is the forward motion, the moving up, the ability to dream, the ability to say, hey, yeah, this happened to me, but I am yet here. I am still here. I still have breath. That means that I have those brand new mercies where I can do something new with my life. I can do something different. I can do whatever God calls me to do. And so I'm just here to empower you to tap into that. Okay. So that's what I have for you on renewal. I don't think I missed anything tonight. I came in ready because it is so exciting. And um, if you are a person, like you need to think about those next steps, like logistics wise, like changing your name, um, for women or people that have changed their name. It's okay to take your identity back. It's okay to be who you want to be, or it's okay to keep it. You don't have to feel one way or the other. It is up to you. But claim who you are. Stand in your power and know that you are going to be okay and you're going to be better than okay. All right? And that's what renewal is all about. So I'm not going to keep babbling. I'm not going to keep going on because I could just talk on and on. And I also want to let you know this isn't the end of me talking about healing from divorce. This is the end of the series. Like I said, there were 10 parts, and there may be aspects, and people may have questions, and so other content may come up, and I'll post that. But I really have enjoyed being able to come and share with you a bit of my story, as I have been healing from divorce. It is ongoing, but I just feel so blessed and so thankful that God has walked with me and He has held my hand. And so, if you need Him, call on Him. And if you need me, you have any questions, you can feel free to DM me and to leave me comments. And I am happy to get back with you. You can also schedule time with me. I have a calendar on my website, and you can go on and schedule time in 20-minute increments. I also have currently, I have a healing from divorce survey. So if you want to take my survey, I'm going to post it here. I haven't posted it on YouTube yet, but I'm going to do that. So for those interested, if you want to take the survey, I am writing. Um, I'm a writer. And so, like I mentioned, the book that I wrote before is called Unmothered, and it does talk about healing. It's a daughter's guide to acceptance, healing, and renewal. And so next is going to be a book about healing from divorce. There could be other content to come out of it. And so I'm using the survey to help inform me as I write. And so if you would like to help me with that, I would appreciate it. Um, that's all I have. I will see you guys around. I don't think I'm going to go live next week, but if I feel like posting something, I'll just post it so that it'll be here for you and you can watch it. But I will be around. And so thank you guys for joining, and I'll talk to you soon.